Okay, we'll call to order the Raymore Parks and Recreation Board meeting Tuesday, June 25th, 2019. Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Bartow.
Present.
Member Coyer. Member Eastwood.
Present.
Member Harris.
Present.
Member Manson.
Present.
Member Williamson. Chairman Troutman.
Present.
Member Howdy-Shell is absent.
Okay, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Oh, sorry.
Member Supple.
Present.
Okay, now we'll stand. Okay, we have no personal appearances, so we'll move to item number 5, consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I need to make for the record, the packet emailed out on Friday had the wrong minutes attached to it. The board was emailed the right minutes, and they should be on your at your desk tonight. They have been updated on the website for any of those out in the audience that would like to go and check those out. So my apologies.
Sounds good. We need acceptance of the minutes from the May 28th Park Board meeting.
I move we accept the minutes from the May 28, 2019 Park Board meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, hearing a first and second. Any modifications? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? And those who abstain? Did you get the numbers? Okay. I got lost there. Next, we'll move on to staff reports. Director?
Thank you, sir. I'll ask Recreation Superintendent McLean for a recreation report.
Thank you, sir. I've submitted a written report in the packet, and I would like to just highlight a few things. One, with the spring wrapping up and summer beginning, it has been a busy season, of course. We have officially started our summer camp, and we have seen some increased numbers, and we've heard some great responses with the new location of using the RAC facility. So that is exciting. Coordinator Van Keulen has been working very hard with her counselors, and I can honestly say they've been very pleased, and they are liking how functionality-wise the new facility is working. So good things are coming out of that, and we anticipate growth in that as well. We have seen a little bit of an increase over this first month, but of course, summer school is ending this week, so we anticipate after the 4th of July week, which is next week, the following one, that's where we'll see our spike like we normally do every year once the school is let out for the summer. Want to highlight that Coordinator Brennan has been working on the Raymore United Competitive Soccer Club teams and working with coaches. This Friday he will be signing up the teams in Heartland that are playing in Heartland. We had, I believe it was 137 at tryouts. That number is up a little bit, as well as the teams coming into the fall. We're up 1 or 2 teams going into this fall over last fall, so we're excited to see that continuing to increase. And then also recreational baseball and softball should be ending next Monday, pending all the weather. So getting the spring baseball and softball league wrapped up is a big thing. And then finally, I'd like to highlight that, that this Saturday is the Spirit of America Festival. The app, the J&M Displays app, is available. It has been refreshed, and Our new sponsors have been added. Everything is ready to go. It's a 9:30 start time. The show will start right at 9:30, and that will be tied in with the music that will be streaming at the park, as well as can be streamed on your phone through that app. We have food trucks, we have bounce houses, we have a dunk tank, and then we have other sponsors providing other games and water and different handouts and things to keep people cool. So she has been working very hard with, Coordinator Ben Coolin, that is, has been working very hard with PD and Superintendent Rulo's crew in getting everything lined up and ready to go. So all staff will be out there working Friday diligently preparing, and Saturday up until the time of the event. So that concludes staff report, and I would be glad to entertain any questions at this time.
Any questions for Superintendent McLean? Brian?
Thank you, Mr. McLean. I got a couple questions. So I know you guys went through a big rec track upgrade. Was that about a year ago?
Yes.
How's that been working out? I'm just curious.
It's been working very well. We actually are putting it to more use. We added the concession stands. We've put computers in every concession stand. That was with help with the IT department. They had computers that we refurbished that they rotate out, seeing how they were going to be outside at those, and we were only using that one system. It is nice because they also added our time clock system and emergency phones out there when they did this whole upgrade. We are also able to monitor weather better because we can have weather up on the internet through the computer as well. But the upgrade, there were a few things that we worked through, but all in all, with the functionality of the new system or the new upgrades, it has helped tremendously with the rentals. With Centerview adding that facility, we added that actually right before we opened Centerview is when so it's actually been 2 years, because I think we did that in February 17. So
Okay.
it's been good.
Do you, I assume, you take credit card and debit cards at the concession stand
Yes.
now? So do you think that's helped increase revenue out there?
It has helped increase, I believe it has helped increase revenue. We are up in revenue. We've also, it's helped functionality. The only time it does slow things down a little bit is if we have internet issues, which has happened, I will admit. It is all, it's a secured Wi-Fi base. It's not direct line because they couldn't drill underneath all that asphalt to
Yep.
get into the building. But we do have a strong connection, but sometimes if that ever gets overloaded or is lacking, it kind of slows the process down a little bit, so the line might get a little long. We had that on our first tournament, but the last few tournaments in the state tournament, man, they were just running them through. So we've also looked at if we need to add a second window with a second computer if we keep the growth that we're going.
Because that's only at one.
Yeah, it's
You only
just
have
one
it at one.
computer and one, yeah.
Okay. Then another question, Dude Solutions, I see it's facilities management. Is that separate software then? Does RecTrack not do that? Does it not have a module to do that?
No, this Dude Solutions is one that the assistant city manager, Mr. Mike Eakey, he was looking at things to work with, and Superintendent Rulo or Director Musteen can also add in at any time. But it was the portion that we did training on and that we're doing is this system tracks usage of like our HVAC systems, tracks any POs that we have for repair work, and it also does life expectancy. So it gives us a budgetary guideline for if in 15 years Centerview is going to need an HVAC unit. We've had numerous repairs. It tracks how long we're doing work orders. For Superintendent Rulo's portion, it will. We can track playgrounds. We can track other systems. Mr. Eakey wanted to have something for City Hall and Public Works as well. So it's something that they actually purchased and they're doing, so that it is more of a facility base, just as in maintenance-wise versus what we're renting.
Yeah, well, and I didn't realize it was citywide. I thought it was just
It's
us,
citywide.
right, for Centerview and the rack and that kind of stuff.
It's actually Buildings and Grounds, not Public Works. They have their own system. The Dude Solutions was Mike Eakey, Mr. Eakey brought it in for Buildings and Grounds, but the whole program was based off of Parks and Recreation out of San Francisco is where it started. So it was very parks related, and that's how we kind of were joined in. But as you know, we're kind of the workforce outside of Darrow for Buildings and Grounds. So it just made sense. It was an easy fit, and we're really very new at it. I mean, we're within the first month of implementing it, so we haven't even touched or scratched the surface of what it can do. But Public Works has PubWorks is their own software system, so
Okay.
it's a little different.
And the last comment, sorry to take everybody's time, is soccer. I'm glad to see soccer is up for United. So we all know, what's this, about a year and a half ago now, that the other club here kind of folded up into another one. Is there any way, obviously, it's a pretty big financial hit. That's why we left that club, right? And of course, our kids were older, only playing a couple more years. Is there any way we could get a hold of other people and let them really know about this option here?
We've been working with the communications department in multiple different avenues, and we are continuing to try to improve and look at every way that we can get the information out there.
Yeah.
And so it's a continuing process with communications, and they're working just as hard to keep it on the forefront and getting the information out there that
Yeah.
we can.
I mean, I think once people see to be honest, the financial difference, I think it's kind of a no-brainer for a lot of people. They offer a lot, but man, you got to pay for a lot. And 98% of these kids aren't going to do anything but play soccer through high school and be done with it. So keep up the good work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Brian, I'm going to add on that. As a United coach for the last 4 years now that we started this thing in a small room with two teams, now we're up to 11. The cost is about 1/3 of our neighboring clubs. That is a big thing, and we are mostly word of mouth right now. So. Well, we look at Bob, so right, and I know that, but I'm just trying to elaborate on that fact. I mean, I'm headed to practice right now, but just, if we get too big too fast, like we grew to 10 teams faster than we thought we would. We thought we'd be at 10 teams in 2 years from now, so.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. McLean.
Thank you.
Director?
Thanks, sir. I'll ask Mr. Rulo to give a parks report.
Thank you. I presented a written report, but wanted to touch on a few items. I just wanted to, I was going to tell you all about the recreation pond rehabilitation, but Director Mustine stole my thunder in the work session. But if you guys get time, do drive by there. It looks fantastic, and a project that was definitely needed. Also, staff, Director Mustine and myself met with the MDC, talking about the water, I lost track of what I'm saying, the water management out there at Hawk Ridge Park, to control some of the algae that's out there. They've been working on that for about a week, so we should notice a big difference here very soon. Staff has power washed the soccer concession stand. If you guys are down there, our painter that we hired has been down there. He's prepping the facility to start his artwork down there. Staff's really excited to see that whenever it gets complete. And staff is also, from the storms we had last Friday, we're still out and about, cutting up limbs that are all over the trails, getting them off. At the same time, trying to do our mowing routines. We had several trees that fell into citizens' yards, so we've been doing our best to get those trees out of the yard, and then we'll come back and clean up the park area as soon as we get time. And the last thing is we've just been working real hard this week, and we'll continue to make Rec Park look as best as it can for our special event this Saturday. With that, I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for Superintendent Rulo? Ryan?
Yeah, a couple of things, Steve. The park painting project for the soccer, I know there were some meetings that some of us came to and participated in. What, and this may be more for Director Munstein, but what was the final plan? Have we seen the final renderings of this artwork? Where do we stand as far as on the
Believe, I can't think of JT's last name, but the artist, he did submit the final wall for the restroom side, which the Arts Commission did request of him. There were some changes based on the Arts Commission meeting. So all of those things that they discussed at the meeting that you referenced were addressed. It looks great. It looks fantastic. I wouldn't say that the design has changed that much, but there is some differences based on their recommendations. So what he's doing this particular week is, the idea is to have it completely done before Saturday's event. We power washed it. He has gone out and put a projector up and traced it and going back and painting it. So we hope to be able to kind of do a soft unveiling of that just by nature of it being there during the week. But all of the concerns addressed at that Arts Commission meeting were taken care of.
Thank you. And in also, I've seen in their work session discussing repairs that need to be done to the disc golf course, knowing that the seating and the work that needs to be done in some of these other areas. With our tough year of weather, where's the staff stand? I've kind of, as driving through the parks, I've seen some things that are maybe in a little bit rougher shape than I think maybe would be in a normal year, but kind of give me maybe a little update as far as, I know the trees got mulched at Rec Park, but a lot of the islands in the parking lot have not been, and a lot of them are overgrown into the parking spaces beside them. Kind of maybe an update more as where you stand, how far behind your crew is, or if you feel you're behind.
I would say, yeah, we're a little behind. I mean, with all the rain we've had this year, it's been a trying year. When answer your question about the disc golf course, the plan is to get that up and running as much as we can, at least get the holes back. Eric and I were talking that if we can at least get the baskets up, whether or not there's tee pads there or not, they can still use it. They know where the old tee pads were, or they can make up their own. So hopefully here, after the special event next week, we'll get the baskets back up and get it usable. The pads, they'll come whenever we have a little bit more spare time. Some of the flower beds and islands have been not had as much attention as they normally do, mainly just because we're trying to keep up with all the grass everywhere. Seems like every time we get our head above water, we get another storm. We're either cutting up tree limbs or behind a week on mowing. So we're doing our best to get caught back up with that. With baseball ending this week, we're hoping we'll have 2 of our seasonals freed up that'll be able to help our horticulturists get out there, and hopefully Rec Park should look fabulous by Saturday, and hopefully the rest of the city flower beds will follow soon.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Great. Thank you, Mr. Rulo. Director?
Thanks, sir. Just a couple of quick highlights in addition to my written report. From a city council perspective, since we met last in May, a couple of things have happened. The ball field lights, fields 1 and 2 at Recreation Park, that has been completed and approved for final pay. The park house demolition, that project has been completed and approved for final payout with the city council as well. Centerview audio video enhancements, if you will remember, that is a project that city council funded through the IT department, basically adding cameras and technology to be able to record live meetings at Centerview in case this facility is overbooked or something. That was second read last night, so that project should be coming on later this year, this summer. The station house, renovation, which the board approved in, I believe it was May, when we did that. That went through second read last night as well, so we'll be contacting R.L. Phillips to get that project going on and moving on its way. And finally, with the recent storms, we have opened up Hawk Ridge Park, the west side where the practice soccer fields are, the parking lot, If you have any limb damage, you live in the city, we have opened that parking lot area for limb drop-off from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. And there's a pile started out there, so just kind of follow suit. And then I believe that goes through July 14th, and then we'll come in and we'll mulch it, and we'll use the mulch around the park system. So that concludes staff report, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Director Mustine? No? Thank you, sir. Moving on, we have no unfinished business, so we'll move to item number 8, new business. Action item A, TB Hanna Improvement Ice Rink. Director?
Thank you, sir. This staff recommendation is part of the TB Hanna Station improvements. If the board will remember, in 2016, part of the bond issue was to include an ice rink at TB Hanna. Initially, the discussions were to be a synthetic ice rink, and I believe I made no bones about it that we weren't overly excited about the synthetic, and we're trying very hard to provide a real ice rink based on conversations we've had with Lawrence Parks and Rec and Gladstone Parks and Rec and their own experiences with that. So we went through the process of bidding the ice rink out. We did go ahead and bid a synthetic and real ice rink option just to have a comparison. Part of the bids, as bids came in, one bid was returned for a synthetic option. It was right in the $45,000, $50,000 range. And then we had 3 bids returned for the real ice rink, and that includes the refrigeration system, full turnkey system. Both are that way. With the real ice, it comes in, the only thing that we would do is have to connect the electricity to it. So they would install, build it all up, and then we would pay our on-call electrician to come out and basically connect it. The ice rink in general, whether it be synthetic or real, would be an amenity in the winter under the depot at TB Hanna Station. We anticipate it being very similar to installed and up and running by Thanksgiving through the end of February, and then we would begin taking it down for our spring events, the food truck events and stuff like that. Both rinks can work with at least 55 degrees weather. It gets a little warmer than that. The real ice doesn't work, but I think that's a pretty good time frame in terms of staying within that gauge. Even if it does get over 55 degrees for a day or two, the system, if it's real ice, it will melt, but it won't completely thaw, so it's just more of it slows it down a little bit, makes the refrigeration system work a little harder. But we have vetted all these companies. We're very pleased with the custom ice, and they came back with additional alternatives for us and recommendations that they thought, based on our facility, would work well. And even with those added alternates, they still were the best and lowest bidder by several tens of thousands of dollars compared to the other 2. And we've talked with them on several occasions. They're ready to go and excited, and we are happy to recommend Custom Ice Incorporated for a real ice rink at TB Hanna Station. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the director? Josh?
Would there be a skate rental? Would it be staff? What's the process for that?
Okay, excellent question. One of the reasons why we went with real ice is because the skates for real ice are readily available at any Walmart, Academy, anything like that. They're just generic, regular ice skates. The synthetic court requires a special skate because you'll ruin the ones made for real ice. So with the synthetic, you could purchase that, but then you have to provide skates for rental and stuff. This one, we don't have to, so anybody can go out anytime without us being there and open for business. In the course of researching all this particular package does not include skates or rentals because anybody can go get them. But we have researched and looked at different alternatives for purchase, and it also includes one of the things we like is that there's several people out there we can contract and bring that service in. Yeah, make sure you use your mic when you speak. So we want to get the rink in. If it looks like it's going to be a need to rent those or provide that service, then we have several options of contracting that service instead of investing in that, because it's a large investment and we just don't have the money to do both at this time. So hopefully that answered that question.
So it would be open to the public?
It'll be an open rink, just like a tennis court or the skate park. It'll be open for use anytime. We will probably program and have some unique program opportunities, and especially the Mayor's Tree special event would be there. But any other time, it's just regular park hours, closing at 11 at night. And there's different options we can do. We can custom design a gate and a fence and stuff, but you do that, then you start opening yourself up to a little more liability. And right now, we just want to get it in, see what it does.
Any other questions? Ryan?
What's been discussed as far as the care for the ice? What type of machinery is going to be needed to resurface Zamboni-wise or maintenance-wise on what's kind of the plan for that?
Okay. Given the size of this particular rink, it's not large, and so the expense of having a Zamboni that we would have to store or transport really it's not justified. This particular piece, they have hand equipment, and it's kind of like sweeping a gym floor. I mean, it's a hard squeegee that you run through, and it basically floods the ice, fills it back up, and it refreezes on there. So until we get it out there and we see how it reacts to our climate, we don't really know how many times we're going to do it, but they anticipate, at least once a day you go out and you sweep it pretty much like a gym floor, and it resets the ice and it refreezes. It probably needs it more during warmer weather, I would say, or depending on how much use it gets.
So minimal investment needed for maintaining it at this point?
Yes, and just man hours. The equipment comes within the package, so we get that care equipment. So it's really just man hours of sending somebody up there to do it.
Eric?
Yeah, you mentioned some other cities like Gladstone. Are there other cities in the metro area or within this region that have something similar? And just how do they operate? Or maybe you don't know, or maybe you discussed with some of your other neighboring cities how they utilize this sort of amenity.
Right. So we did do some comparison research in terms of synthetic and versus real. The synthetic was more of a sizable comparison for the size of rink that we're doing. So Gladstone is very much similar to our size, and they can't say enough bad things about it. I'll just tell you that. It's a pain to set up. It doesn't get us a lot of use. It's a pain to break down and store, and it's just really not a very good bang for your buck. Lawrence had a synthetic rink that was a little bit bigger. They used it 2 years, and they put it in storage, and they haven't got it out since. It was that much of a hit financially to have it. Real ice, we would be one of the smaller rinks around because ours is custom to fit that niche of our park. But many of you know Lee Summit just put in an ice rink that's basically kind of a half size of a regulation rink. Overland Park is putting in a rink. They're becoming more popular in terms of leagues and things like that, and that's typically how they're using in programs, leagues and stuff. Ours is more set up, like I said, like a skate park, which it's more just a drop in and skate and enjoy your time. We'll be able to do some little things, but frankly, budget prohibited how big we were able to go. And so we'll use ours more of just a drop and play and special event type facility. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Brian?
So thinking long-term, if we get land and space and time and want to get a bigger ice rink, is this equipment movable to use? Obviously, there'd be more needed equipment to get there, but if we found room that was double this size, could we take this out, basically buy a duplicate on the other half to do a full rink, or would you just buy new equipment at that point?
Okay, yes and no. It is portable in terms of we can take it down and go store it and bring it back, so we can put it where we want. However, the refrigeration system is permanently installed in one of the side gardens, so if we were to take the rink border, we would still have to purchase a new refrigeration system, and if it's going to be that far down the line, it's probably more cost efficient to just purchase a whole system.
Okay.
If that was the case, and we wanted to do something, I think we would approach it a little differently in terms of the size, location, what we're going to use it for, multi-use, very similar to Overland Park and Lee Summit where it, has a dual purpose during the summer. So I think they're two different facilities.
Okay. The second question is, do we have an estimated annual operating cost for this?
No, we don't. We can get estimates from the company in terms of what they think it will cost monthly, but I don't have that information for you. I can get that for you, or I can ask them if they can provide that.
Yeah.
But most of it is just electricity. I mean, the little bit of water that we have to put on there won't be as much. Most of it's just the continuous electricity.
How thick will the ice be?
It's got cooling units, kind of like a radiator underneath along the concrete. There's a rubber layer and then this radiator tubing. And then, so I would say it's a good 6 to 8 inches deep. But it's hard to gauge what it's going to be because there's going to be so much at TV Hanna with the spray ground, the water, the plumbing, the electricity of that. Getting a trend for what TV Hanna is going to be, it's going to be a couple years before we can really project what that's going to be. Some of it's just going to be trial and error the first couple go-arounds.
Okay. And so looking at this, the custom ice rink is 74, and the synthetic, you said, was 54?
Between 45 and 50, I can't remember
45
exactly.
and 50? But that still leaves us $500,000 under the budget, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When these reports come in and we're providing these staff reports for recommendations, I'm just continuing to add on so you see where we're at within the budget. So what we have left is the playground, spray ground, and the site work to bring in there. That's pretty much it. So I'm just trying to keep it in track so that every staff report you guys can see actuals. And city council gets the exact same so that you guys are seeing what they see.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I will ask for a motion.
I move we accept the recommendation to get a real ice rink at TV Hanna.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Okay, item B, budget amendment, action item. Director?
Thank you, sir. The next item is a budget amendment that we're requesting to help offset some costs related to change orders and a couple of the projects we got going on. We've lumped them together because they both pertain to trails, and the budget amendment is transferring dollars to repair a trail at another park to help offset these costs. Bottom line is we want to push back Memorial Park trail light replacements to next year and refund that next year and use that current money to help cover costs for trail enhancements at Hawk Ridge Park and also at Recreation Park near the bridge replacement. Two of those things occurred during the project that needed to be beefed up a little bit and taken care of at the time. So the work has been done. It is our job to present you a recommendation on how to pay these guys and get their job complete. And this is what we would like to do. I'm happy to answer any questions. I will say, because this is a budget amendment, this will end up also going to City Council for first and second read before final completion. This will be the final component in terms of the bridge, the pedestrian bridge at Recreation Park. Once this is done, this will be final pay for that contract. Hawk Ridge Park, this will reimburse that account and basically will continue and help pay for the final paving and those items within Hawk Ridge Park. So hopefully I have described that enough. Happy to answer any questions, and that concludes staff report.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a motion. Oh, Brian.
I move we transfer $26,000 from the, is that Fund 25, the Capital Improvement Fund, to Fund
47. 25 is our operation, 47 is our.
From
capital.
47 to 25? There we go, in that order. Sorry, 26,000 from 47 to 25.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? 7-4. Okay, item number 9, board elections. At this time, I'll call for nominations for board chair. Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on prior experience and the fact that I've been confronted with being new to a board at times of election, I'm making a motion to table these elections for 1 month to the regular meeting in July for the board. And the reasons for that is I feel that orientation should take place first for new members. That gives them an opportunity to see what staff in the department does and the responsibilities and duties of the board are. And that's too often than not when confronted with being new to a position and then having to make a vote as to executive officers. I feel like there's insufficient information and knowledge. And that this, even though I feel more than a month should be utilized, at least this 1 month will give an opportunity for new members to learn and be oriented toward the duties that they need to perform in this and on this board. And that's my reasons for the promotion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Can you read that motion again?
All right.
That was very long, and I'm like, what was the actual motion?
Well, all right, the motion is to table the elections for 1 month to the regular board meeting in July.
I second.
Okay, having a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none, at this time we'll vote to table the elections until July meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, Mr. Eastwood, would you like to state why you're opposed?
No.
Okay,
No, let's just do it, but
okay, so we 6-1. Yes, Director.
Can I,
Staff will make a point to ensure that we do the orientation for the new members prior to July so that we can brief them and have that ready to go. So we'll do our part.
can I clarify that motion? Was that for all elections or just for the chairmanship?
Actually, it includes myself since I'm new to the board, even though it's a return.
I was just asking,
Right,
yeah, was
pardon me,
it
are you
chair,
talking about
vice
the
chair,
chair?
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
was the
both-
motion for all votes or just that seat?
For all positions.
I believe
yes.
that's what the motion was for. The motion, as I heard it, was to table all board elections, or table board elections to July.
Thank you, Mr.
Correct. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, it will be tabled then. Yes, sir, Director.
I'd like to give a quick update before we wrap up our meeting. July work session, July 9th, Mr. Fearborn has rescheduled what was previously his plan to attend one of our meetings and go over some funding and budget items. Tentatively, that's scheduled for July 9th. Upon conclusion of his report, then the board will review our operations budget recommendation. So just to put that on your calendars, we will, in fact, have a work session on the 9th.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no public comment, we'll move on to board member comment, and I'll start down here with you, Brian.
First of all, I'd like to welcome our 2 newest members. I saw that hesitation on vote or no vote. You'll learn that very quickly on when to vote yes, no, and abstain, but it goes pretty easily. We're pretty laid back, and if you have any questions, we're all here to help. I'd also like to make a statement. Last month, I thought it was my last meeting, but I had a couple conversations with the mayor and my city councilman and got reappointed again. I'd like to thank all three of them for their vote of confidence and allowing me to continue to represent Ward 4 and the city on the park board. I'd also like to thank staff again for their work and diligence. Man, it's busy. I'm asking lots of questions, so it's probably getting longer because of that, but your staff reports are long. I know you guys are probably busy. Your baseball's probably been canceled because of rain. Hopefully not as bad because we did the fields, but I know mowing's been atrocious. And Nathan, I know you've been busy with all of the, I'll call it paperwork, right? All the management of all these projects. So I and the rest of the people I know in the city appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you very much.
Ryan.
I'll echo Brian's comments. Welcome to the new members and to the returning member. Also like to thank staff and the mayor for the reappointment for myself moving forward. I'm excited to be on this board. There's a lot of good things that are coming down the pipe, just hearing about TB Hanna and Hawk Ridge and all the improvements still going on, hearing comments about expansion of the RAC and different things. So it's really exciting to be on this board. As discussed in the work session, being budget time and budget month, kind of my encouragement for staff is to make sure we still have the staff to take care of what we have. So as we're working through the budget, make sure we have, I'd love to say that this has been an oddball spring and an oddball winter, but it was also an oddball fall last year, and it has been kind of a lot of oddball times in the last couple of years for weather. So to kind of be prepared for that and ready to go. But thank you for the staff for everything that you guys are doing. I have spent a lot of time at Raymore United tryouts with my daughter, and she's been playing softball on Rec Park Field 2. They've been in fantastic shape every single week. Could pass it on to your staff that the fields would look great no matter the weather and all these different situations. So thank you very much.
Eric.
Yeah, welcome new members. I'm excited to hear your ideas and have your new energy on the board. Just the new thoughts and hearing what your viewpoints are in terms of what we're doing here. There are a lot of things going on, and it is very exciting. Kudos to the construction team who did the Raymore Rec Pond. It does look fantastic. It's going to be a really nice addition as you enter into that park. I would like to thank staff. I know it's been like a trying year, but I actually think the parks look really nice right now, even though it's hard to keep up. I think early on it was really hard to keep up, and you could see that, but I think they've caught up for the most part. Probably not to the standard that they're used to, but I think it still looks really nice. And I usually go out to Rec Park probably once or twice a week, and it is hopping. There's people out there doing all sorts of different things, and I don't really hear a lot of complaints from people I know. I think it looks great, so keep up the good work.
Bill.
It's good to be a park board member again. I'm waiting for that orientation. I like to be able to hit the ground running a little bit. And I know you're going to do an excellent job when you have that opportunity. It's good to work with a good body of people here on the board. I know it's going to be an excellent group. And I'm looking forward again working with staff. And I hope I serve the citizens of this city well as the members of the ward too. And I'm glad my motion wasn't out of line. Thank you.
Shonda.
Well, I want to thank you for being allowed to be with this prestigious group who has a community in mind and getting things done. So I'm very proud to be a part of this.
Josh.
It's an honor to be here. I think parks are essential to any city, and I want this to be, I want the parks to be the best they can, and it's an honor to be here. And thank you for the opportunity.
Great, and I'll finish by saying I travel quite a bit, and when you travel outside the city, then you realize how much we have and how good it is. So I thank staff and all the workers and so forth, because again, when you see what other people have, you tend to realize how good we have it. So that's awesome. I'd also like to thank the mayor, city council, especially the citizens. Congratulations to new board members and old board members coming back. We're very excited to have you. Congratulations to the ones reappointed, and just appreciate all you guys do. With that, I will ask, yes, sir.
I'd just like to say one last thing. We always thank John and Nathan and Steve, but I also want to thank Greta and Katie and Todd and Boyd and Jeff and the other people whose names I really don't know of them all. I'm sad, but you guys also do work, right? I'm not the head of my company, and I do a lot of grunt work, and I don't always get the kudos, but we see it, and so I wanted to just also call out their names. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. At this point, we'll enter a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, all those in favor? Passes, we adjourn 7-0.